Liberation is the new name for communism. We're not doing vulgar Marxism anymore. Communism didn't work. Khrushchev had spoken. Khrushchev had told about what Stalin had done. Khrushchev being now, at that time in the 50s, in charge of Russia, or the Soviet Union, there was no denying this. There was no, oh, this is communist propaganda. No, he had come out and confessed to Stalin's crimes. And there's no denying it. The failure in the Soviet Union of communism, the failure in the Eastern Bloc, the failure through other parts of Eastern Europe were undeniable. So Marcuse in Essay on Liberation begins by praising the revolution in China. It's going well. That's what he says. 1969 is in the middle of the Cultural Revolution, which was 66 through 76. Tens of millions of people were dying under Mao's Cultural Revolution. Children were being indoctrinated in their schools to attack their teachers and parents and grandparents. It was going well, is what Marcuse says right from the beginning. The revolution there is going well. The revolution in Vietnam is going well. The revolution in Cuba would be going well, except that it has too much Soviet influence and something went wrong there. But we should look to people like Castro and Che anyway, because they have the right idea. Liberation movements are happening all around the world, and there's a sexual liberation movement on. There's a black liberation movement on that had started in the 50s. And Marcuse is now taking all of this liberation energy and he's trying to co-opt it within the neo-Marxist program. Of course, what was the goal of Marx? Was to liberate from capitalism. So liberation has always been a communist plan. Liberation sounds good. It isn't.
And part of that liberation, like I said, folks, this isn't real liberation. This is libertinism. This is the root of all of this. These people don't want responsibility. They want to live like they are rulers and kings, and so they've concocted or they believe in this whole system, which they think is going to prop them up to this position. Well, most of them are just going to get the wall. But it's liberation from reality. And this is the things that are coming, right, with the metaverse. This is the things that are coming with what's the chip that Elon Musk is working on that implants in your brain. This is the kind of thing that they are seeking because they don't want to have any restrictions or rules on them. They are in this belief that all of those things are repressive. Again, it's do what thou willst. To restrain yourself is repressive to them.
It's liberation from the
Neuralink. I just remembered now. Neuralink. That's what I was talking about.
System. Liberation from capitalism. Liberation from being happy. And so Marcuse writes this insane essay, the first section of which, or chapter of which, again, it's one of those things, is it a book, is it an essay, is titled A Biological Foundation for Socialism, as a question. And his argument is that, like this has never been tried before, that we must change human nature to make it acceptable to liberation, to socialism. In fact, he defines liberation in that essay as socialism without the bureaucracies, because it'll work this time. Socialism without the bureaucracies. And to get there, we have to change man by introjecting a new morality into him, by creating a new moral paradigm in which he has to live until at the level of his biological needs, he needs liberation and socialism from the existing oppressive system. In other words, we're going to awaken a critical consciousness in him until he can't stand living in the society that he's living in, to the point where it's at his level of needs, he can't function. In other words, and I think this is as good a confession as you can find, critical theory exists to induce psychopathologies, which are by definition psychological states that make you incapable of dealing with reality as it is, to the point where they impact your ability to live your daily life.
Yep. That's what critical race theory is all about. It's about inducing psychopathologies onto the population so it self-devours. And it is the new morality and the liberation of the old morality. And again, we'll get more into the special type of power or capital or whatever. You have a special type of privilege that's called being white, right? And everyone who's not white is oppressed. That's what CRT is in a nutshell. But again, this is deeper than just some ideas that have just been sitting on the surface or some people are putting out there around. They need to create a new morality, which is instilled first in your children. They are grooming the revolution.